In India, we grow up on stories of absolute devotion and terrifying wrath, tales where fierce sages will literally fight the gods themselves, and where a single spoken curse can level entire kingdoms. That cultural love for divine punishment makes the perfect backdrop for a place like Bhangarh Fort. Tucked in the Aravalli hills of Rajasthan, these vast ruins carry a warning placed right at the main gate by the Archaeological Survey of India. Entering after sunset is strictly forbidden. For decades, this notice has fueled Bhangarh's reputation as Asia's most haunted location. Locals and tourists share accounts of women screaming at night, an invisible, crushing sense of dread, and the ultimate playground rumor: anyone who spends the night inside the walls never comes back alive. Investigating these ruins reveals something far more fascinating than ghosts. It forces us to ask if this official warning is protecting us from restless spirits, or if our love for a good myth has buried a much darker historical tragedy. The ghost story that every tour guide tells starts in the 16th century with a dark practitioner of black magic named Singya. Legend says Singya became obsessed with Princess Ratnavati of Bhangarh, eventually cursing a bottle of her perfume to act as a magical love potion. The princess caught on, smashing the bottle against a boulder. The magic caused the massive rock to crush the Tantrik, but as he died, he issued a final, devastating curse. The entire city would be destroyed, and no house within its walls would ever keep a roof. Today, if you look across the 9,000 stone structures standing here, every single one of them is roofless. It's a cinematic tragedy, but it lacks a paper trail. There are 0 verified historical records proving that Princess Ratnavati or the Tantrik Singya ever existed. No inscriptions, no contemporary documents, nothing. The sudden abandonment of a thriving 9,000-home city leaves a void that history and science must fill. If the supernatural players are fictional, we have to look closer at the physical ruins to find the real killer. Consider the most common proof of the haunting: those chilling sounds of crying and screaming heard from the fort after dark. Those sounds are entirely real, but they originate from the nearby forest. When night falls, local wildlife moves into the ruins. The calls of striped hyenas roaming these grounds sound like a human crying out in distress from a distance. The darting shadows and rustling trees are the resident macaque monkeys shifting through the canopy. The ASI's strict warning sign keeps visitors safe from these nocturnal predators and highly unstable architecture in pitch darkness. These physical hauntings are misidentified natural wildlife, showing that the external environment of the fort behaves exactly as a protected forest zone should. Even without ghosts, rational, skeptical tourists report severe anxiety, cold sweats, and a physical sensation of being watched while walking through these ruins. The culprit is infrasound. When wind funnels through narrow stone corridors, it generates low-frequency waves below 20 Hz. Human ears can't hear them, but our bodies feel them. These vibrations interact directly with our nervous system, triggering unexplainable chills, dizziness, and panic. Our biological hardwiring adds to the effect through pareidolia. Our brains are designed to recognize human faces, meaning we actively stitch together random shadows and broken pillars into ghostly silhouettes. This biological cocktail is amplified by suggestibility. Because visitors are told Bhangarh is cursed a place before they arrive, their brains actively seek out danger, successfully manifesting the physical symptoms of terror. The experiences at Bhangarh are a predictable storm of environmental physics, low-frequency acoustics, and our own innate cognitive glitches. Ruling out the supernatural allows us to examine the documented history of what actually happened. In the 16th and 17th centuries, Bhangarh was a wealthy, booming commercial hub sheltering thousands of residents. Its prosperity eroded through geopolitical shifts. The region was conquered by ruler Sawai Jai Singh, who went on to establish the city of Jaipur. Wealth and political influence drained out of Bhangarh, reducing it to a neglected outpost. Political decline weakens a city, but emptying it completely requires a catastrophe. That fatal blow arrived in 1783, triggered by a massive global El Niño weather anomaly. It triggered the Chalisa famine, a drought so severe that it wiped out a staggering portion of northern India's population. Already struggling with natural water scarcity, the region dried up completely, making survival inside these stone walls impossible. A shift in political borders suffocated the city, and a devastating climate disaster finally finished it. If the history of the Chalisa famine and the political shift to Jaipur is so well documented, it's curious why the fictional curse remains the dominant story told at the gates. It comes down to our deep psychological need for narrative structure. It is profoundly uncomfortable to accept that city-killing tragedies like famines or ecological collapses are random, indifferent, and entirely out of our control. The Tantrik's curse gives the tragedy of Bhangarh a clear villain and a direct motive. A vengeful sorcerer provides a sense of order to the chaos that a changing weather pattern does not. Bhangarh stands today as a mirror, reflecting our desperate human need to route terrifying random events into neat, understandable stories. Investigating the truth removes the power of the unknown. As the scientist Marie Cherry once observed, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." The monsters in the shadows disappear the moment we turn on the lights.